Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura's Handmade Haven. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. We're continuing our Summer BBQ Series, and today we're going to be making a fabric tube trivet that's going to be perfectly sized to fit underneath those 9x13 dishes. However, if you have a different size dish or a different size trivet that you would like to make, you'll be able to take the basic concept and create any size trivet that you want. So we are going to have some supplies to round up today, and first and foremost we're going to introduce the beautiful fabric once again that we'll be using, and I'll show you the exact fabrics I'm using in the trivet that I'm making today. I do want to give a shout out to Benartex for supplying the fabrics that I'm using for this series. I'm using the red, white, and sweet line. It is so pretty, you guys. And in this trivet, we're going to be using 5 different fabrics. So as you can see right here, we're using the strawberries on white. Next, the Sweet Liberty motifs. The Americana Flowers multi, the Strawberry Celebration in blue, and the dark blue gingham. I love these so much, and I can't wait to show you how we're gonna make this trivet any size you want. And we're gonna be using a special tool that I've had in my craft room for 4 years and have not used until this project. Do any of you have things like that? I was at a quilt show and Clover was there as a vendor, and they had this new product at the time on their table, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. I want to use this. And so I bought it, and it sat on the shelf for 4 years. Now my excuse is I've been working on a master's. But the real truth is sometimes I just buy things and I'm like, I'm gonna use that, and then I just don't. But we're using it in this video here today. So to make our trivet, we're gonna be using the Clover fabric tube maker. And I'm telling you, I've used this a few times just to practice up for today's video, and it works so easy and it's so quick. You guys are gonna be amazed. I cannot wait to share this with you. All right, so get prepared. This is what you need. Out of the 4 fabrics, if you want to make this along with me, I'm using 4 fabrics for my fabric tubes, and those were the first 4 fabrics I showed you today. Out of those 4 fabrics, you're going to cut yourself 2 2.5-inch strips. In addition to the 4 fabrics we're using to construct the trivet, we're also going to need some binding, and the binding is going to be my sweet gingham. So out of the binding fabric, you're going to need 2 2.5-inch strips. Now you're not going to use all of that, but just do yourself a favor and cut 2 widths of fabric and you'll be good to go. Once you have your fabric cut, you're also going to need to either cut or purchase some batting strips. Now I know that batting strips come on these nice little rolls, and if you have one of those sitting on the shelf somewhere, go grab it because we're going to use it. If not, if you have batting scraps lying around, cut yourself some batting strips. They're going to be 2.25 inches wide. Now you can cut them 2.5 inches wide. I just prefer the 2.25 just to give myself a little leeway when I'm sewing it all together. You're gonna need enough batting strips to do the entire length of all your fabric. So you have basically 80 inches of 4 fabrics. So you have 320, so you need 320 inches of 2.25-inch batting strips. Now those do not have to be one continuous strip. And in fact, I have multiple cuts, and I'll show you how to deal with that too when we head over to the sewing machine. All right, so at the sewing machine, let me tell you really quickly about my sewing machine, just because people always ask me. I am using a Juki DX7. I love my Juki. It came with this nice extension table, and I do have the cone attachment for my Juki. It just allows me to use the great big thread cones instead of the little bitty spools. Now today I am using a spool of thread in my top and bobbin of the same color, and that's just because it's kind of a nice complementary blending fabric for this line. The first thing I'm going to do is take 2 strips of my fabric, which are the same pattern, and I'm just going to do a 1/4-inch seam to sew them together. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just do a finger press in between these strips just to get that little seam nice and flat. If you want to take that to the ironing board and press that, you definitely can. I've just found it isn't really necessary. Now the one thing that I have noticed with doing these fabric tubes, you want to make sure this strip does not get twisted as you drop it to the floor. I usually just drop the strip between my legs down to the floor in front of the sewing machine and go from there. Now the next thing so you're going to grab your fabric strip and you're going to lay it flat, and then you're going to grab one of your strips of batting and you're going to kind of center it onto that strip. And again, the rest of your batting strip, I just have it hanging down between my legs down to the floor. And you're just going to line those up pretty much edge to edge on the end, just like that. And you're going to take the first part of the Clover tool, and actually it's a good idea to have these pieces apart, that way you're not fiddling when you need them. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take this strip and you're going to fold it with the edges in towards the middle. So it's going to look just like you're making bias tape, right? And then we're going to take the larger piece of the attachment and we're just going to push that through. And you fold it like that just so it's easy to take it in there and then let those edges pop up. And this is the last time you're going to have to hold that like that, okay? So don't fret. And then line this piece up and that clips into place and that is not going anywhere. All right, so we're going to pull this through just a smidge. This is the second part of the puzzle. And then we're going to take this strip that's already folded in half like this to the middle, and we're going to fold it onto itself just like that. We're going to take the smaller of the two pieces and put them in here. And then the little insert goes right behind it to snap it into place. And that's going to hold this in place just like that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to slide it down a little bit just to get things started. Now I will tell you, I do try to keep my eye on this back here and just try to make sure that is going in centered as it goes through. That's the only place that I really would caution you and tell you to keep an eye on it, right? The rest of it is really pretty simple. Now I'm just going to take this sideways and push it underneath my presser foot just to get it started. And I'm just using a straight stitch. So when you're folding those in half, you're just going to stitch the edges together. And this is folded over onto itself. And again, I'm just using a straight stitch just to stitch those together. Now I'm using my presser foot, so I'm probably about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, definitely less than 1/4, but not too much, not really too narrow, because you want to make sure that you do catch both of those folds. You're just catching these two top folds when they're folded together to sew them all together to make your fabric tube. All right, so once again, I just have the rest of my strips hanging down to the floor in front of me. I'm just going to pull this back to about the edge of my extension table and then pull this back too. I'm going to fold these over. They're already pretty much there. I just want to make sure we align those edges as best we can. They don't have to be perfect as long as they get caught in the seam. And we'll stitch till we're pretty close to the tools. And then we'll do the same thing and continue down our strip. So we're at the point where we need to add another batting strip. So all I got to do is take another batting strip and lay it right here behind it. And if you're lucky, it will just slide through. But if you're not, it's no big deal. We're just going to loosen this little piece right here, slide our main piece back, and then pop that right back into place. And that batting strip is secure and it's not going anywhere. And it's going to go right into our fabric tube the way we want it to. My fabric did get twisted there a little bit, so I'm just going to slide that back and forth just a couple times just to get that line back out. I like showing you guys the oopses too, just because I feel like we all have the oopses. So if you've seen someone else make the mistake and a solution, then it's not quite as scary when it happens in your own craft space. We are almost to the end of our fabric strip. This design is so brilliant. I don't know who at Clover came up with this, but it is brilliant. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and slide this off because I don't really need it on there. And I'll go ahead and slide this almost to the end. And then when I get pretty close to the end, I'll go ahead and slide it off as well and finish out my tube. Okay, so I have one of my fabric tubes made. I have 3 more to go, and then I'll show you the next step. Now that I have my 4 tubes made, all I gotta do is subcut them down. And like I said, we are making a 10 by 14 inch trivet for our 9 by 13 inch bakers. However, I'm gonna cut these strips at 16 inches. And the reason I'm doing that is just to give myself a little wiggle room just in case anything goes awry when I am sewing them together. So I'm just going to lay these strips out here side by side. And I'm going to use my ruler just to hold them flat and cut them all off to 16 inches. And I'm going to continue to do that until I'm out of strips, which should be 5 strips from each fabric. Now you want them close. They don't have to be exact because again, we are going to be trimming this down to 14 inches. So you just want them pretty close. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just use a design board and lay these strips out. And I know that I want them in an order that they are complementary to one another. So I'm just going to do a repeating pattern, and this is the pattern I'm going to go with, because then when my next one hits here, it's going to be right like that. And this should help me keep things in order. You can definitely use less or more fabrics in this design. If you have a jelly roll and you want to use the entire jelly roll or 8 strips from it, you could definitely do that. You don't have to go with just 4. If you want to do this with just one color, you could totally do that too. All right, so I'm just going to take my first 2 strips and I'm going to put them underneath my sewing machine just like this. So the place where I sewed this seam is going to be nesting a little bit underneath the next strip, and I'm going to do a zigzag strip, and I'm going to do a zigzag stitch all the way across there. No, I left my zigzag on the default stitch width and length, and I just kept those strips close enough together that when I sewed them through the machine, they, sewed together. So they are together and they're not going anywhere. And now I'm just going to grab my next strip and do the exact same thing and continuing to build out my trivet. Now, again, I'm making a 10 by 14 inch trivet. I cut my strips at 16 just to give myself a little wiggle room just in case anything went awry, and that way I can trim up the finished size of my trivet to 14 inches long, and I don't have to worry about being a little off on my ends. You do want to keep them fairly close, fairly consistent, but if you're a little off, it's not going to hurt anything. And again, I just have the strip laying right next to it, and I'm just using a zigzag to go across the second strip and the third strip that I'm just adding. I'm going to continue to do this with all 20 of the strips. I don't really know what else I could tell you about this process other than it will take a little bit of time and it definitely takes a little bit of thread. But this is the process. Just keep going, keep adding your strips, building out your trivet. And then once we get all of these together, I will show you what to do next. Now that I have my strips all sewn together, it's time to cut this into my finished trivet. Now I will tell you, I was planning on stopping at 10 inches, but I went ahead and just used my extra couple of strips. So I do have it, it's 12. It's gonna be 12 by 14, which is gonna be fine. So I'm just going to use my 18-inch ruler to trim this down. And you do want to be a little careful when you're sewing these because it's definitely easy to get kind of an angle going. So just keep that in mind. And you can also like reverse the way that you sew. So like sew one strip from one end, flip it, sew the next strip from the other. So just, just keep your folds and your stitched side of the strip consistent along the whole thing and it will be fine. Now I did go ahead and block mine a little bit just because it had a little bit of a curve in it. So I just went ahead and blocked it and was perfectly happy with the way it's turned out. I'm going to trim this down to 12 by 14. So I know I told you at the beginning our target was 10 by 14, but I just couldn't stand to not use those strips and I just decided just to use them. So it's going to be 12 by 14. If you have 20 strips, 12 by 14. If you want 10 strips, then if you want 10 by 14, you only need 16 strips, not 20. If you use this method, if you overlap them more, then you may need more. But this is what my trivet is going to look like. But we need to go and bind it. The only thing left to do for our trivet is put the binding on. If you haven't cut your binding strips, go ahead and do that. You need 2 widths of fabric that are 2.5 inches wide. I had some scraps, so I have about 60 inches of binding, which will be plenty. I am going to leave myself a pretty nice little tail because I'm just going to join my ends with a straight stitch. So I'm going to start somewhere right around here. I do have my machine set on a quarter inch stitch, so it's a quarter inch from the edge if I just run my presser foot along the edge of this. Full disclosure, I did go ahead and square up my trivet, so I have cut it down to 11 by 14 at this point. So the edges of this are open tubes, but they're going to be fine and dandy. They'll be caught inside my binding and no one will ever know. And you're just going to put binding on this just like you would put binding on a quilt. So that's the same method. If you have not put binding on a quilt before, I do have other videos on the channel that will show you how to do that. Just look for the happy hour finishing quilt video, and it has step-by-step instructions on how to do binding. I have a couple other ones too. So any of the finishing videos for quilts, I typically walk through how to do the binding. I should have mentioned earlier, I am using a Schmetz universal needle, so it's a little heavier weight than the Microtex that I typically use for my quilting piecing. Just a little tip there. Here's our finished trivet. It is perfect for all those hot dishes, and it also coordinates beautifully with all of our other summer barbecue items. I hope you've been enjoying this series. There's a playlist listed in the description box down below. Make sure you check that out so you can see all the projects that are in the series. And again, the fabric we're using is Red, White, and Sweet from Benartex, and it is so pretty, you guys. I love it so much. This trivet turned out so great, and I can't wait for it to adorn my summer barbecue table. If you have a comment or suggestion, please leave those down below. I try to get back to those within 24 to 48 hours, and I would love to hear from you. If you have not, please consider subscribing to the channel so you know when the next videos drop. And until next time, find joy in all you do. Carve out some time for crafting and creating. And remember, it's always better when you make stuff up.